Toledo voters have a big decision to make next month, narrowing down who should be the next mayor. Ahead of the May 6th primary, we are talking with the candidates on WTOL 11 News at 4 this week. Today, we have Mayor Wade Kapszukiewicz. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
So this is a big deal because recently the voters approved a measure that would allow for a third consecutive term for mayor in the city of Toledo, which sets you up for a third term. Why do you think you deserve a third term in the office?
Well, I think the progress that Toledo is making is real. And if you're someone like me who feels that, Toledo is not perfect, for sure, Toledo is not perfect. But boy, there's no question Toledo's making progress. And if you want to see that progress continue, then I think that's a reason to vote for the stability and continuity that, in this case, I would provide. And, when I think of progress, the first area I think is public safety, where crime in every category that we measure, that our police department measures, in every single category, crime is down. In particular, violent crime. So from 22 to 23, homicides went down by 30%. Then from 23 to 24, they went down by an additional 18%. And here we are halfway through April. And so far this year, they're down by 50% on top of that. So it's night and day that from a safety standpoint, we're at a crime rate about half of what it was just even 3 or 4 years ago. Are we perfect? No, there's no question that's progress. But also when I think of progress, I think of where we are from an economic development standpoint. Last month, Site Selection magazine named the city of Toledo a top 10 city in the entire country in terms of new business investment. Not top 10 in Ohio, not top 10 in the Great Lakes region, top 10 in the entire nation. And that was the 9th year in the last 11 that we had a top 10 ranking. That's progress. When I think of our infrastructure, especially our roads, the progress we've made. 2 years before I became mayor in 2016, the city of Toledo resurfaced 0 roads, not one road anywhere. This year we're resurfacing 114 roads, and we do about 100 to 110 every year. So are we perfect? No. But we're making progress. And I think that a voter who wants to continue that progress and continue the sort of, calm, serious stability that, I think my style can be described as, I think that's a reason that they would vote for me.
When you speak of that progress, but the fact that we're not perfect yet, we have had a couple of really high-profile violent cases involving young people that the community is really bothered by. We do still have, we talked with homeowners today about a sinkhole on Arlington, things like that. How would you continue the progress? What would you do in that third term to continue that?
Well, I would continue to do the sorts of things we have done to see crime go down so dramatically. When I became mayor, there were 580 police officers on our streets, and the size of our police department had declined for 22 consecutive years. Now, in the 8 years that I've been mayor, the size of our police force, all of a sudden, after 22 years of decline, has grown by about 50 officers. Now we have about 630, 635 officers. Turning around that aircraft carrier in the middle of the ocean is hard to do, but I'm glad we did it because one of the reasons we're so much safer as a city is that we have so many more police out doing the kind of community policing that we know works, getting out of the squad car, developing relationships, et cetera. But that's not the only thing that we've done. We've also invested in our youth in a serious way. Every year for the last 3 years, we've spent $2 million a year, so that's a total of $6 million over 3 years, on 100 different free programs for our kids every summer. We want kids in the summer to have positive options, and so whether it's sports, and there are sports, but it's not so much more than sport. You want to learn how to podcast, you want to learn how to cook, you want to learn how to garden. Heck, we even had a program last year, you want to learn how to ride a horse. Anything a kid wants to do to be positive, we have a free program for that young person. I think the reason we've invested in youth to that extent is another reason that things are moving in the right direction. So really, we have to just continue working that plan because it's working. When you add more police, when you give positive options for kids, you see the numbers decline the way they have. Again, we're about half Our crime rate's about half of what it was even 4 years ago. We need to continue to work the plan because it's obviously working.
Talk a little bit more about economic development and what you'd like to see and what you think you can do and accomplish in 4 more years.
Well, again, we're starting from a pretty strong position. When you're ranked in the top 10 in the nation for new business investment, 9 out of the last 11 years, you're starting from a pretty good place. Again, think back to what our riverfront looked like, the day I was sworn in as mayor, let's say. That ice skating ribbon wasn't there, the pickleball courts, the amphitheater, the whole Glass City River. I think there was just a road going to nowhere. If you remember what was down at what was called the Marina Project back then. Being able to see that come to its fruition and to complete that work is exciting from an economic development standpoint. But I also think that what we have done, taking long vacant space and turning it into positive job creation opportunities, is substantial. How long was Southwick a vacant blight, this old Southwick Mall? Now
Amazon.
Now you drive by there and you see jobs. How long was the Northtown Mall a vacant blight? Now you drive by there and you see Mobis, a tier 1 supplier to the auto industry. We've been able to position Toledo for that kind of growth with more opportunities to come. And when I think of the next 4 years, really I think of housing as a key need for our city. Toledo is ready to grow. When you think of demand, supply and demand, it's not a demand question. We based on the studies and other evidence in terms of like which neighborhoods are growing versus which neighborhoods are declining, that we'd have 20,000 more Toledoans living in our city right now if we had 20,000 more units of housing. In other words, the demand is there. The supply isn't. Okay. The city of Toledo has its fingerprints right now in about 23 different housing projects sprinkled throughout town. That's great, but those 23 projects will bring about 2,000 more units online. It's great, we'll take those 2,000 units.
But it's 2,000 units.
It's 1/10 of what we need. We need 20,000 more units. So housing is a crucial need as we go forward, and it's one of the reasons that you saw us invest so heavily in affordable housing through the American Rescue Plan. You remember the American Rescue Plan were federal dollars?
A couple new projects you have building.
The Grand and the Glen. That's because we took $10 million of that ARP money and used it to build the housing we need. And we need all kinds of that. We need more market rate, yes, like the Colony lofts that are opening, I think, in a month. We also need more affordable units like the Grand and the Glen. We need everything. We took that American Rescue Plan money and invested in it because we know that's going to be Toledo's key need going forward.
Okay, well, we will, as we said, May 6th is the primary election, but early voting is underway now. So people getting out there and casting their ballots. Mayor, thank you so much for being here today. We appreciate it.